12:07 a.m. That number glared at me from the little screen on my desk when the alarm pinged. Just one sharp chime, and then silence. Out here, alarms don't go off for nothing. Sometimes it's a goat nosing at the fence, sometimes a deer brushing past the line. But the way my gut twisted, I knew before I even rubbed the sleep out of my eyes this wasn't livestock. It was men. 3 of them, all dressed in black polos and heavy boots, moving with purpose, not like anybody out for a midnight stroll. One had a crowbar dangling loose in his hand the way a carpenter swings a hammer before the first nail. Another shined his flashlight dead on at my camera, trying to blind it, while the third kept checking his phone like he was waiting for a green light. Just beyond the camera's edge, tucked back in the tree line, I saw a silver SUV, Karen Delworth's, president of the High Oak View Estates HOA. She'd been papering my mailbox for weeks with those cream-colored letters that always smelled like some cheap perfume and petty power, complaints about my goats, my fences, my disruptive agricultural activity. This little midnight visit was her answer to the note I'd mailed back. 7 words, nothing fancy. I am not a member of your HOA. Cease correspondence. The crowbar slammed into my steel gate, sparks dancing in the dark. I armed myself, stepped outside, and fired up every floodlight I owned. The yard exploded in white light, catching those boys flat-footed. My warning was enough. Within seconds, they scrambled back to their truck and tore out of there, tires spitting gravel, Karen's SUV trailing behind like a snake in the grass. I walked up to the gate, kicked the crowbar aside, and just stood there in that sea of white light, knowing damn well this wasn't over. It was only the beginning. Back inside, hands shaking a bit, I brewed up the strongest black coffee I had and let my mind drift. 6 years ago, I'd left the city, left 20 years of Army Corps of Engineers work, built bridges on 3 continents, followed orders my whole adult life. Retirement wasn't going to be about golf courses or subdivisions. I wanted dirt, space. So I bought 97 acres off Frank Dalton, old rancher with a handshake like steel, who looked me dead in the eye and said, "She's all yours now. Take care of her." And I did. Rebuilt the windmill by hand, ran 3 miles of fence until my knuckles bled, filled the pastures with goats because, hell, I just liked the sound of them in the morning. Sunrise, coffee, boots on the porch, stars at night. Nobody telling me how high to build a fence. Nobody dictating what color paint to use. That was the dream. And for a while, I lived it. Then the letters started. Cream-colored envelopes, black print, always addressed Dear Resident. I wasn't a resident. I was the owner. Paid in full, deed in my name, filed it myself with the county clerk. First letter griped about visual integrity and non-standard perimeter materials. Translation, they didn't like my fence. Tossed it in the fire pit. Next came noise complaints, cicadas, and a rusty windmill, apparently criminal. Third one wanted me at a community meeting to discuss alignment with HOA values. That's when I started saving them. Habit, I guess. In the Army, you learn to keep a paper trail. After the 5th, I snapped. Sat down, wrote back. I am not a member of your HOA. Cease correspondence. Stamped, mailed, done, or so I thought. But people like Karen don't quit when you tell them no. 2 weeks later, she's standing at my gate in a pastel pantsuit with a clipboard clutched like a shield, and from then on, the peace I'd built wasn't guaranteed. It was a scorcher that Tuesday. Sun high, cicadas screaming like power lines. I was oiling hinges on the side barn, lost in the rhythm, when I heard tires crunch slow on the gravel. Deliberate, not friendly. There she was, white blouse, pastel pantsuit, one heel already sinking in the dust. She hit the intercom, voice all clipped and proper. "Mr. Hicks, this is Karen Delworth, president of High Oak View Estates HOA. We need to speak." I let her wait, then leaned in. "Ma'am, unless your truck's on fire or you're bleeding, you got no business on this land." She puffed up, clipboard squeezed tight, talking about visual integrity and odors from your animals, claiming it impacted her residents. I couldn't help myself. "That smell, Karen? That's freedom. You want it different? Plant roses on your side." She tried to play nice, softening her tone. "Wouldn't it be easier if you joined? You'd have support, security, standards." I cut her off. I spent 20 years in uniform, part of something bigger than myself. I earned this dirt. The only thing I want to be a part of now is goat manure and coffee at sunrise. Now, please get off my easement. She didn't argue, just snapped a picture of my gate and marched back to her SUV. That little click told me everything. She was just getting started. A week passed, then a black Ford rolled up. Not neighbors. Two men in black polos, heavy boots, arms crossed, practiced grins. One introduced himself as Eddie, his buddy Cole. We're with the HOA, just wanted a quick word. I told them to use the intercom. Eddie gave me a salesman smile, but Cole's eyes were colder. You're surrounded by people who want this community to function a certain way. Join the HOA. Keep your animals, nobody cares. Keep resisting, and folks get curious what's happening behind your fence. I just stared at them. You on my easement? Cole hesitated. Technically public access, until I cut him off. One step over, and it's private. You want friendly, you're on the wrong ranch. The charm drained from Eddie's face. Cole squared his shoulders, but I didn't blink. They left, but I knew it wasn't the last time. 2 nights later, the alarm went off again. Same black Ford, this time 3 men at the gate. Eddie, Cole, and a new guy, big, limping, rough around the edges. Karen's silver SUV sat half hidden in the trees. Crowbar raised, flashlight blinding my cameras, third guy checking his phone for the signal. I didn't waste time, grabbed the 12-gauge, loaded shells, boots on, coat zipped. I moved quiet through the dark, came up behind the shed, thumb over the floodlights. When that crowbar hit the gate again, I waited until they were sure they had me beat, then hit the switch. Yard went white as noon. They froze. Eddie bolted, Cole tripped, the big guy howled and limped worse. They scrambled for the truck, tires flinging mud as they vanished. Karen's SUV backing out slow. I raised a hand to camera 2. Hope you got that, Karen. Back inside, I archived the footage, time-stamped, all angles. I called the sheriff before my adrenaline even wore off, told the deputy exactly what happened, sent him the video, pointed out Karen's SUV and the crowbar dents. You'll find prints, tire ruts, and a limping man in town, I said. By sunrise, 2 real Texas lawmen rolled up, hats low, boots dusty, respect in their eyes. They took pictures, cast a boot print, bagged the crowbar, watched every second of the video. That's Karen's SUV, I pointed out. They didn't say much, but I got a case number and a handshake. Thought that would be the end of it for the day. Boy, was I wrong. 3 hours later, I'm called to the sheriff's office. Karen's there, blue blazer tight, lawyer beside her oozing cheap cologne. In the interview room, the deputy asks for my story again, then for my evidence, USB drive, photos, stack of letters. She claims her team was doing a safety sweep, that you threatened them with a gun. I laughed. A safety sweep at midnight with a crowbar? They slid a folder across, legacy boundary agreement, proving my land was HOA. But I spotted errors right away. Seal from 2005 on a 97 document, digital topo overlay from years later. This is fake, I told them. I filed my deed myself. And Frank Dalton, the rancher who sold it, is still alive. The deputies exchanged a look. They knew they'd been handed a pile of nonsense. A couple days later, the sheriff himself calls. Mr. Hicks, this is organized fraud. You've just opened the biggest can of worms we've seen since the water rights scandal. I don't need flattery, just a case number, which he gives me. Within 24 hours, one of Karen's hired men, Travis Beck, is picked up limping out of a liquor store, bragging about scaring a farm freak. He's got a record, and under pressure, he sings. Says Karen paid him in cash, promised forged documents would protect them if anything went wrong. The sheriff's tech guys pull the metadata off the supposed boundary map. It was made 6 weeks ago, signatures copy-pasted. The lawyers involved, Farber and Kerr, are known for dirty tricks. Charges start piling up: fraud, harassment, conspiracy. Karen holds a press conference, tries to spin the story, calls me aggressive, claims I threatened her community's cohesion. But 2 days before, I'd already handed everything to a local reporter. So when her speech airs, the station cuts to me at my gate, deed in hand, crowbar marks clear in the steel behind me. I moved out here to be left alone, I tell the camera. If someone thinks they can take what's mine, they better be ready to explain it to a judge, because I'm done playing nice. The clip goes viral. Podcasts, watchdog blogs, even memes, me with a shotgun, captioned, HOA problems? Just add shotgun. Then I get an email from a whistleblower, no name, just attachments. HOA emails, invoices, handwritten notes. Plans labeled East Expansion Project, with my land mapped right in. There's a note from Karen to the board attorney. Accelerate coercion against the non-compliant landowner. Now it's all out in the open. I call Rebecca Green, a lawyer out of Dallas, known for taking down bullies. I bring her every scrap of evidence. She sifts through it, eyes sharp. Let's burn them to the ground, she says. We file suit that afternoon, civil charges, criminal complaints. The sheriff does the same. Now it's not just about me. It's about every landowner in Kaufman County. Rebecca subpoenas the HOA's records, finds off-book payments, contractor fees, emails about backdoor permits. One board member emails another. Once Hicks is on board, we can fast-track East Expansion. They called me stubborn. I call it not for sale. The board is forced to hold a public meeting, first time in years. Rebecca reads the whistleblower's email aloud. I hold up the fake boundary map. The crowd is furious. A board member stands, calls for Karen's suspension, and the vote isn't even close. She's out, effective immediately, but the real reckoning will be in court. Court day feels like a showdown. Karen's there with two new lawyers, but the judge isn't buying their story. Rebecca lays it all out: fraud, conspiracy, intimidation. Deputy Sloan testifies, Frank Dalton testifies. Even Travis Beck takes the stand, says he was paid to scare me and the paperwork was fake. The digital evidence is airtight. Even a zoning official admits Karen tried to bribe him to redraw the boundary maps. When I take the stand, I just tell it plain. I followed every law, filed every paper, paid every tax. If that's not enough to keep what's mine, then what is? Verdict day, the judge finds Karen guilty: fraud, document falsification, attempted coercion. 4 years probation, $1.4 million in fines. Banned from ever serving on any HOA in Texas. Her thugs get jail time. Her lawyer is disbarred. The HOA itself is ordered to pay me $720,000 for harassment and defamation. To pay up, they have to liquidate their reserve fund. No more lawn service, no more pool, no more guards at the gate. Karen's house goes on the market in disgrace. I hang a new sign at my gate. Think your HOA has reach? Try that crowbar again. I'll wait. It's not for Karen, really. It's for anyone who thinks paper and power can steal a man's land. A week later, I'm invited to speak at a symposium in Austin. Topic: boundaries, law, and the power of saying no. I tell them, peace isn't free. Sometimes you have to hold the line. Not with anger, but with proof and law. The applause doesn't matter. What matters is the nods, the folks who get it. When it's all over, the ranch is quiet. Goats at dawn, windmill creaking, stars overhead. Word around town is I'm the guy who beat the HOA. Folks want to buy me beers, shake my hand. But fame's not what I wanted. I just wanted to be left alone. The HOA limps along, services cut, residents bickering. Some stop by to apologize, even bring pie or handwritten notes. You reminded us what property rights mean. Karen disappears. House sold at a loss, gone for good. Her story's a warning, not a victory. Pride and power rot a soul. Rebecca calls every week, promises they'll pay Jack. They won't weasel out. She's right. Every cent lands in my account. Most of it I put back into the land. Standing at my gate now, I remember the boundaries aren't just lines in the dirt. They're promises. Break them, and you'll learn what it means to face a man who keeps his word. Not to scare anybody, just to remind them, and myself, that freedom means holding the line, even when the world pushes back. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. But tell me this. In your neighborhood, would you stand your ground, or would you fold? Drop your thoughts in the comments, right or wrong. HOA or no HOA. Let's hear where you stand on justice and boundaries.